there's a lot of men, and I'm going to say this specifically this way, and I'm not trying to sound like T.I. when I say this, but a lot of men lack the intellectual ability to have a conversation past the tip of their penis or deeper than the tip of their penis. It's like, let's have conversations that mean something. Let's have those tough conversations that challenge us, that change the next generation, that challenge the women. You know, I was watching this thing earlier, and the young lady said, you know, weak men make masculine women, and strong men make feminine women. That is the truest statement. But what it is we have to ask ourselves, what does strength look like? What is it to be a strong man? What do these men look like? Where are they in the community? Let's identify them. And they don't get glorified because they might not have all the shiny shit on. You know what I'm saying? They might not be the richest person in the room, but they're a man. You know what I'm saying? I got 10 children, 5 of them that aren't mine by blood, but I take care of them. They're my babies. You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you mean.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like whenever, but people like me won't. Ain't nobody gonna look at me unless I got the shiny shit on, unless I'm the person that's popping on Instagram.
Yeah,
man, it's crazy.
Man is only validated these days by his financial prowess. So if he got a lot of money, that means he right, and everything he say and do is right. And he's smart. He got the bag, and he winning. He big bro and OG and shit. He just dummy with money.
And he's not held to a moral, ethical standard of any kind because he got money. Yeah. So what you would allow a guy who didn't have extreme means or exorbitant means to do or say, you wouldn't allow a guy who didn't have those same degree of means to do or say. You know, you have to be less tolerant of the guy who isn't financially well heeled. You know what I mean? I don't have to take that from you. You got no money.
Absolutely. And
that is the death knell for society.
Yes, absolutely. You know, and when you look at it, right, the way they feel about it is this man that has these means, that has this money, has more options than just me. Let me shut up and sit back. Versus the other way around, it's I have more options than you, broke ass nigga. I don't need you. You see what I'm saying? Right. There's plenty of broke people out there. I can go get me one. You know, and that's the mindset that we're going up against now and then it's a lack of God. It's a lack of any sort of belief system, regardless of the religion.
Yeah, no belief system.
It's no belief system. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, that is, again, structure, discipline. You know?
My man Tom out of D.C. says these folks in these days wouldn't know a good man or woman because of social media. Which is why I was prompted to bring my son on here, because my son posts a lot of ridiculous, salacious, what I would say destructive fucking posts, man. Like, I mean, all kinds of crazy shit. Like, I don't know why you think I want to see monkeys fucking. I don't know why you think I want to see, some 80-year-old woman, shaking her titties and some shit like that, and you make it all kinds of inappropriate fucking comments and shit like that. I'm like, what the fuck? Sometimes I'll text him and say, take that shit down. What the fuck is wrong with you? Take it down. What's wrong with you? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, man, like, this is a representation of what was invested into you. Like, I stayed alive, healthy, free, and functional so that I could raise you. Don't be fucking misrepresenting me in motherfucking world.
I can feel that.
But then, he explains to me that, like, if I go, any other route, these motherfuckers don't respond.
Yep.
No,
they don't tap in, and it all back to that same mindset. It's like they stuck on stupid, and they're drawn to stupid, and they exalt stupid and narcissism. I don't understand where people think, like, nobody's taking accountability for their contribution to this condition. They all sit around and act like they are uninvolved, observers, but they encourage it by engaging it. Man. They contribute to it by sharing it and pushing it. And they don't understand. It's like continuously pissing in the pool. Everybody's pissing in the pool. But it's like, well, I'm just pissing a little bit, and everybody else is just pissing a little bit. But before you know it, the whole pool is full of piss. There's nobody want to get in this motherfucker now. Yep. And now, when that happens, we as a society, as a community, right, really as a group, we melanated people as a group, like we already are in a very disparate condition, socially, economically, psychologically, spiritually. We're already decimated for real. That's why the culture, what's popular in the culture that comes out of us, it's so fucking negative, destructive, backward, and non-productive. That's why that's the most prevalent aspect of our culture. That's why, the most popular artists are the ones that are promoting the most degrading, destructive, and useless fucking shit. But they're the most popular.
Yep, absolutely.
I don't know what they think that this is all going to come to, but it ain't going to be fucking good.
Not at all. And what's it's something I learned in my ethics class. My ethics professor taught us a lot of shit, but one thing stuck with me. He said, choosing to do nothing is choosing to do something.
That's right.
Being complicit.
And people don't realize that. Whenever you sit back and you just like, oh, that shit's going on over there. It ain't affecting me.
Right.
Whenever you let that shit happen and you don't speak on it or try to influence it and change it,
it'll be at your door soon.
That's it. 100%.
Be at your door.
Yep.
That's a fact. That's a fact.
That's real.
So, son, like, how do you determine, as you comb through the internet sphere, how do you determine what videos you're going to post as a representation of your brand? Because that's what it is.
Sometimes just what interests me or what motivates me. Sometimes it'll be a video where I'll look at it and I'll see a total different angle to say something from which everybody else is just missing, and I'll expound upon that idea because people are just kind of missing the point, and they arguing about Blueface and Krishan. I'm like, boy, it ain't even about that. Look at this woman's influence. She got a tattoo of this man's face after she said he beat her for months and got away from him and got a new boyfriend. And then tattooed this man's face on her, and then it was a viral thing of women going to get tattoos of their man's face on them. It's like, are y'all following the woman that make bad decisions and we watch make bad decisions, and then y'all going to do what she do, but y'all talking about how she dumb, but you doing what the dummy do? Like, who is leading who? Like, who's the follower and who's the leader? Like, people just be out here just making decisions, not really gauging anything or understanding why they see it.
I understand where you're coming from with that, and that's the scariest part is that, people don't think beyond their lifetime, their span, this popularity, this short term, because I made a post a little while back, and I said, it scares me that this generation is going to be grandparents.
Yeah, man. That's
scary. Man. Well, a friend of mine, I had a deep conversation with her, but she got a tattoo on her inner thighs that says "slippery when wet."
How old is she?
She's 36, and I said, sweetheart, I don't think you thought about that, because what are you going to say in the next 20, 30 years when you're at the beach with your grandchildren and they ask you, Granny, what does slippery when wet mean?
Who wait to 36 to make that decision?
People that have no guidance and no friends.
That's something you do when you
and no friends.
25, 24. Like, you shouldn't be 36 making that decision.
I mean, knocking on 40's fucking door.
Yeah. Yep.
If the average person, best case scenario, is going to live 80 years, that means that 40 would be middle age. You're a middle age person making adolescent decisions.
Absolutely.
And if you're a parent, that means you're responsible for the development of another human being.
Yeah.
Society is subjected to this product that comes out of your ideas, your thoughts, and your universe.
Yep.
That's why they built so many fucking prisons.
Yep.
Because people don't want to be subjected to the lady who has the children that has the slippery when wet tattoo on her inner thigh. They don't want you know, people who live in communities like myself, we don't want that. We don't want to see it. We don't want to, certainly don't want to be living next to it. We don't, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like real shit.
I don't think they recognize their impact or the fact that their decision reverberates through their community and reflects through their child and their behavior and, you know, the outcome of that child's life. They're just making the decision based upon, you know, their hurt, their pain, and what they feel like they want for their immediate gratification at that point in time. Their child is really the last person that they think about, because if they thought about their child, they wouldn't make that decision at all.
That's real.
I agree with that, son. I definitely agree with that. I mean, knowing that I raised you, knowing what you were taught, what I taught you, and then seeing some of the shit you post, like, where the fuck does this come from? What influences this?
I still got to function in this world because either that or I'll be just socially disconnected. It is kind of hard to do comedy and move around in this space and not be, you know, at least engage with what they're engaging in. And able to
I absolutely get that, but let me play devil's advocate, right? And let me kind of bridge that gap for you. So think about the people that you never have a conversation with that see it and take it as truth.
Mm.
And think about those people that may be misled by something that, you know, they may be idolizing you secretly and never tell you or have that conversation with you. And they don't understand, and they're not on this live, and they don't understand why you post the things that you do. That influence that you have could potentially be detrimental to future generations or future people that don't have that conversation with you.
I'm not empowering it. I'm making light of it and showing how ignorant it is. It's never to the point of like,
sometimes,
yeah, go show your titties. Unless like them breastfeeding videos, they'd be like, hey man, I'll be supportive. If she want to pull her titties out on camera and feed her baby on live, pull them titties out on live. Like, you know what you're doing. I know what you're doing. I'm just trying to get the attention. I just want the attention that she will get. Like, she getting them views.
That's the shit. That's the shit. I just want the attention she was getting. Yeah. That's all. I just want the attention she was getting. Yo, that is it's
you know, and we have to use caution. I'll tell you, doing celebrity security a lot. I listen to the music and I just kind of shake my head because I know my personal beliefs, and then I know the people around, you know, in the music too. They're doing the music not because they believe in what it is that they're saying. They're doing the music because it's popular. And, you know, where I think your dad's trying to caution you is that, you know, use a lot of discernment in the things that you post, because it may give a misrepresentation you may not be able to go get back one day. And I'm also one of those people that I used to post a lot of crazy wild stuff. I slowed down from it. I still do every now and then. And that's how I can understand where you're coming from with it. But, you know, we have to also, whenever I do post the crazy wild stuff, I post some real stuff too to go with it. You know, talking about, you know, one of the things I posted recently was, you know, the true currency in life is time. It's not money. That's the truest currency that we have, because once it's spent, you're never getting it back. And, you know, dropping nuggets like that along with that, I think that'll kind of help you with your audience that you're going for.
Yeah.
I give him credit for the ones where he's basically putting something on people's minds, you know, something to think about, you know what I mean? And those are moments of pride for me, you know what I mean? Where I see a reflection of the things that I invested into him and then poured it into him. You know what I'm saying? But sometimes I be like, yo, I'm gonna unfollow this motherfucker. This is crazy. You know?
I get it, because you be at certain places where if you open my page and something pop up, they gonna be like, "What the fuck?" Like it just gonna look crazy. So
it's gonna look crazy as a motherfucker. You know, I appreciate his comfortability with being honest with me, and just call me. I appreciate his ability to be honest with me about the things that he's into, the things that he experiences, his thoughts about the basic experience of being a young black male in this modern society, whatever, you know, because it gives me insight into things that I don't really want proximity to, you know, like I don't own a television. I haven't owned a television in probably 15 years. You know what I mean? And because I want to protect my mind, you know, and even when I'm engaging on social media, I'm very particular about the pages that I follow. And at certain times I see things like shit just come up on my feed, whatever, like I'll block it, or I'll block an individual might make certain comments, whatever. And I say, I could never see anything of value coming out of being exposed to this person's ideas. And I block them, you know, because I'm programming me. Everybody's programming themselves. It's just that most people are not programming themselves consciously. So as you turn into what you tune into, that's a problem, right?
That's heavy.
So, you know, that's the kind of thing that I try to constantly encourage in him, but at the same time, keep an open mind about, you know, what this contemporary society's ethos is, like what the general ideology and thinking is, and where they place their attentions and what they think is important and stuff like that. Because in my effort to help people, I have to understand to some degree where they need the help, you know, and where the influences are coming from and so forth, you know. So having these we have these conversations a lot. And you know, and I'm not, you know, I'm honest with him.
Yeah.
You know, I tell him if I don't agree with something, I don't like something, I tell him, you know. And that is not to say, I'll withhold my love or my regard or my time or anything from him unless you comport to my preferences. Not at all. It's I'm just, you know, I trust you enough to believe that I can be honest with you and you won't hold my honesty against me.
Yep. And yeah, man, that's real, and I respect that. That's real between y'all.
No, and by displaying that, that is what I'm encouraging. Like I tell them all the time, and I tell all my mentees, you know, the first service that we offer to others is example. You know, so I truly believe in giving what you want. So if I'm being trusting enough and saying I'm going to be really honest about what I think and feel about this, I want you to understand that I'm prepared for you to be really honest with me about what you think and feel about anything that I'm putting forth. You know, even this opinion that I'm sharing. You know what I'm saying? And I think that those kinds of dialogues are necessary in order for people to grow, in order for people to evolve, you know, because like having the same experiences over and over and over again, that's not life. You know what I mean? That's dysfunction. You know what I'm saying? And so if you're dealing with the same issues you were dealing with when you were 25 at 35, that means that you've wasted 10 years. You know?
Yep.
You know, you really need to make a conscious effort to not pay attention.
Right.
And you know, so I appreciate engaging with my son. What's going on, Flying Goose Mobile?
I'm
detailing.
I'm a hop off. Now I want to thank both of you brothers for letting me.
I appreciate it, Chris.
In.
Thanks for tapping in, bro.
Pleasure to meet you for sure.
Thank you, man.
All right. Peace. I'm gonna call at you too when I get off.
All right, that's a bit.
Okay. All right. Yeah, son. So, you know, I want to have these conversations, because there's like we say all the time, you know, when we have these conversations, you know, and I ask you certain things, you give me insights. You give me insights that help to expand my perspective. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I'm out here in the woods. Like if I don't go out my front door, which I will often not do for, you know, a week at a time, I don't see any other human beings aside from my wife. You know? So if I don't get on social media and I don't go outside, it's like the world doesn't exist, you know. And it's good for me mentally and spiritually because it helps me to, you know, stay peaceful. You know what I'm saying? And not spend a lot of time going, what the fuck? and until of course I come across your page.
It's a lot of anxiety dealing with social media in the sense that, you know, as a person that, like, I started out posting comedy and posting events and stuff that I was doing, but it was like that shit wasn't picking up no traction. Instead, I started posting, you know, controversial videos. That's when people started caring. So if you're not gonna play the game to win,
they don't care.
Huh?
They don't care.
What you mean?
You said that's when people started caring. They don't care.
I mean, not even so much caring. I mean, responding, paying attention. You can equate caring as people bringing your page traction.
Now, I think that what you just stated just now, I think that is a miscommunication of reality. To equate people gawking, you know, and being nosy to caring, if that becomes the standard for caring, a lot of people are going to be fooled.
In my game and like comedy, if you got 250,000 followers, that'll get you a tour all across the country. Like all these comedy clubs will open themselves up and allow you to come in there and run their shows, and you can.
Yeah, people
like
getting
as
hired
feature,
on that kind of
as not the headliner, you can make $250,000 on some cash doing comedy if you got somebody that has the numbers, so they'll be comfortable with the promotion. Even if I watch people with fake followers do it, but they don't recognize that. They don't recognize the followers as fake. They just going off the number because they haven't caught up with how social media works. So if it looks good, then it must be good, and they're going off of that. So I'm battling a system that's kind of an uphill. There's comedians that have been doing comedy 20, 30 years, but they don't have a big social media following. And you being funny don't mean nothing. It's like, are you going to sell tickets? Can we put your name on this wall and people are going to know you? So if you could be Pull Your Dick Out Jones, and if people know Pull Your Dick Out Jones because he's running in the supermarkets to pull his dick out, people going to come see Pull Your Dick Out. And
like that kid.
Boot Gang.
Boot Gang, yeah. Like him. I remember that.
Got so famous, he couldn't even do the things that he was getting popular for, and became, you know, it became his demise. He went to jail for breaking into people's shit and, you know, jumping on people's counters and stuff. Then you get so many trespassing and so many, you know, warrants. Now you going to jail, and now you have to deal with the consequences of this big fandom that you done created, and now you got to feed this beast. And it's being fed ignorance, so they want you to do more ignorant shit.
Yeah, they're looking to see you crash.
Yeah.
Can't wait to the crash.
But from him, we got a whole lot of gang shit, and we watch people try to take his format and keep recreating it, and they just keep recreating it with the social media.
And that is the real issue.
Yeah.
That is really what these conversations that we have offline that going forward, I want to tap back in. Like what's today, Tuesday? Let's tap back in on Thursday. Around 7 o'clock.
7, bet.
Because I know you got shows and stuff like that. Is 7 a good time?
Yeah, 7 good. Thursday.
All right. So let's tap back in like Thursday, 7 o'clock, and you know I want to talk more about this kind of thing. You know, and all these conversations that we have, you know, I don't know of too many father and sons that have the kind of rapport that we have, you know, like we grew up together, you know. And so we've shared a lot of experiences, you know, in our growing up, you know what I'm saying? Like when I was doing Don Diva, you know, you 14 years old driving the van across the fucking country. You know what I'm saying?
When you retired and said I ain't going back, I was sitting in the living room and you was started writing your book. And it was just crazy.
That's right. So, you know, we've seen a lot of things together. You've seen me evolve and you've seen a lot of iterations of me throughout my evolution, that have no doubt given you unique perspectives, you know, that a lot of your peers didn't have in terms of their father and who their father was. You know, a lot of fathers, parents in general, but we're talking about fathers and sons, a lot of them, they decide that they're going to present themselves as a certain person in, I guess, a so-called effort to influence their son to be the person that they're presenting themselves as opposed to the person they really are.
Yeah.
You know, and then when that kid's genetic predisposition starts to manifest behaviors that they are suppressing, they want to act like they don't know what the fuck is wrong with this kid. You know what I'm saying?
Well, he
whatever.
acted like that.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
wasn't even raised like
Right.
this. He like, boy, he hear all the stories about how you shooting them up and killing everybody. You think they don't feel like he should be shooting them up too?
Right, right. Tom said he'd like to join in on Thursday. Yeah, and Tom, it'll be dope. Tom is my homie from DC. And, you know, I used to go out there. He helped me break Don Diva in DC.
Oh snap!
He had he has a clothing line, Street Dreams.
I remember that.
Remember Street Dreams, right?
Get all that stuff. I remember
right.
Tom had. I was lit in school with that Street Dreams and shit off.
Right. That's right.
He got his jerseys and stuff. He had the jerseys in there.
Yep.
I got the Mavericks jersey from there, and I got that picture in the hat. We went to the car show.
Right. That's right. That's right. That's a fact. I sent you that picture. I recently sent you that picture at the Fun Flex car show where you wearing that jersey and shit. So, yeah. That's Tom. So Tom, one of his sons grew to be, and Tom was a real menace to society. You know what I mean? Tom was I love you too, my brother. Tom was a real wild DC nigga, like one of them boat smoking, gun toting, rootin' tootin', wild and shooting ass DC type niggas. You know what I mean? And his sons and daughters grew up to be some of the most civilized, well assimilated. And I'll have to attribute that to their mother. I have to attribute that to their mother, man. Their mother's a wonderful lady, and she loved this crazy motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? Through all his madness. And one of his sons is a policeman, like a sheriff. You know what I mean? And they're all very well behaved, very well mannered. You know what I mean? You would never know that this maniac had anything to do with them. And I say that lovingly, brother.
I always found the interesting dynamic of you being home and
cutting off,
cooking breakfast.
You must be walking through the home or something.
Extra.
You said the dynamic of what? Could you cut off?
The dynamic of how when you was in the street and then you would come home with your big ass bag and you would cook us breakfast, make sure we got up for school, be there after we got out of school, work, do our homework, do all of that stuff, and then go out and do street gangster nigga shit. And just like it was just like the duality of having to take off this hat and put this on and then play this role to the top of the list that you could play it, be like super dad, and then go back out and be super hood nigga, and be like it was.
Yep.
You know, it takes a lot.
That you know, that's true too. Like, you know, y'all, I was deep in the street while y'all were little kids. That's true. That's true. I wasn't even really thinking about that. But I mean, when I was running wild, and carrying 2 machine guns and all that, whatever, then I would come in the house and do my dad thing and help with your homework and make you breakfast or lunch and dinner and just like be a regular person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that and I was
going to school, parent teachers meetings and stuff. You're like, I could kill everybody in here, but yes, how you doing, sir? Yeah, well spoken, like this man is crazy. I used to be thinking like this nigga's crazy. Like I'm nervous because he could zap anytime. Like this could go bad.
It was a hell of a journey, bro. It really was. And I'm thankful that you are here, I'm here, and we're able to do this. You know what I mean? And my son is a man. And that he's a father to his two sons, and by the way, his oldest son, my grandson Tata, is 15, and he is a track star and a football fucking star.
Yeah.
This guy posted the other day a book about how to teach young black men to watch out, young black athletes to watch out for snow bunnies or something like that. That's how I'm getting that for my grandson because he's gonna be a target. You know what I mean? Like he's a middle class kid. He's good and kind and decent, and I called him the other day. He was babysitting. You know what I mean? And or he's playing the video game. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, yeah, I gotta make sure that he's aware of the kind of attraction. These black girls, they might be on some ratchet time shit and on some other bullshit, but the white girls, they know where the value at.
Oh, they know what it is. They gonna hold you down. They gonna let you drive that car.